Hi guys, my name is Matt McDavitt and I'm a student in Professor Byrne's section of ENEP250, and I'm just going to briefly talk about our most recent homework assignment, which was the creation of a haiku that related to climate change or environmental policy or just something of that nature. Now, the aim of this haiku was to kind of use this very small confined space to illustrate a larger issue at hand and kind of give a bit of insight into a deeper rooted problem. When initially thinking about the inspiration for my haiku, I took a look at the main components that the Japanese used in order to create the first haikus. Different things such as strong language, just kind of creating mental images using specific words, and just really just putting as much power into these very few lines as humanly possible. So I just want to introduce you to my haiku so you can kind of get a feeling for where my inspiration came from. So as you can see, it says, "Storm surges augment, neighbor's boat docked in my yard, need to mitigate." And so up top here I have sun shining down, and then here like the whole haiku is kind of underwater. As you can see, there's some brown pieces around. Those represent just driftwood and just like pieces of debris from the wreckage. And I also have a boat here that is just kind of in the middle of a lawn. It's not in a trailer or anything. It looks kind of like destroyed on the inside, maybe even crashing into this tree in the background. And so I just want to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind my haiku. So I live just a few miles from the Jersey Shore, so Hurricane Sandy deeply affected my community. Now, I was safe from the water, so it did not affect me so much as it did some of my friends, but I did know people that lost their houses entirely or sustained major damage. It did a lot of damage to many of the places that we like to hang out at during the summer. It really destroyed a lot of the beaches. One of the famous landmarks, Sandy Hook, which is just a few feet above sea level, the water actually was able to completely pass over, almost splitting it off as if it were an island. So essentially it did do a lot of damage. Some of the after effects of the storm were multiple weeks off of school. There were lines at the gas stations. The food was all bought out at all the supermarkets. It was pretty catastrophic, to say the very least. And so I aim to use this as the inspiration in my haiku because for the future, I think that it is very important that we look into tactics of mitigation, building houses elevated, exploring different ways to build up sand dunes, and maybe even just building structures further from the shore. Essentially, we just need to kind of have a chip on our shoulder, like we're bound to get more frequent storms due to climate change, and storms are going to be more intense. There's no denying these facts. And so the next step is just ultimately the preparation for these storms. So another theme that I have here is this displacement of this boat. And what I'm kind of getting at is that this is the least of our concerns. I mean, what the future could hold if we do not act now is larger populations of people being displaced, potentially hundreds of thousands, larger structures being destroyed, the loss of lives, just to name a few. So what my haiku aims to do here is just kind of paint this picture of we need to act now in order to prevent catastrophic damage for the future. This word mitigate, which I end the haiku on. So that's kind of the whole basis behind my haiku. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about it and hearing about my inspiration. And hopefully if you're going to make a haiku of your own, you can find your own inspiration. Thank you.